So I've quite the story for you guys today because the government has now shut down. And now this is very interesting. This is the first government shutdown that I have really, I knew about the one in 2013, but I wasn't really old enough to really look into it and understand what it was. So, it's kind of like, oh, like government shutdown, that's crazy. Like, what is that? So what I'm going to be doing here is breaking down what happened because the government has now shut down and what will the ramifications of the government shutting down will be. So basically, the government shutting down is basically Congress and the president not being able to come together, Congress not being able to appropriate the funds, and the president signing that bill. Basically, what will happen is in the shutdown, all non-essential discretionary spending will be stopped. So I'm going to break this down for you. So there are going to be a lot of furloughs. So here's what this article says. It says thousands of federal employees will be placed on furlough, meaning they won't report to work on Monday. Whoever works for agencies and departments that are considered non-essential, including agencies that pay out small business loans and process passport requests, will cease to work effective immediately until Congress is able to agree on a bill for the federal budget. So in past times, after this happens, there's like a bill that retroactively pays them. I also forgot to mention, by the way, so it is now Saturday. It just like hit 1 a.m. for me. Now what that means is the Congress still has Saturday and Sunday to try and compromise on something to get it going. And basically, the Democrats couldn't get DACA in the bill, and so they were basically protesting it. They decided to filibuster. So that is why they have done it. Now, here's another thing. So it says the White House said Friday that 1,056 members of the executive office of the president would be furloughed and 659 considered essential would continue to work. So you're talking about over 1,000 people in the federal executive office who are going to be furloughed, which means they're not going to be showing up to work. So the military, this is something that's considered essential because it's national defense. So they will still be showing up, but they won't be getting paid. But they will be paid retroactively, is what it says. It says, in addition, many civilian Department of Defense employees will not be working during the shutdown, including instructors at military academies and maintenance contractors. So a lot of civilian Department of Defense employees will also not be working due to this government shutdown. The special counsel, Robert Mueller's special counsel, will be basically exempted. That will continue. The special counsel will continue to run its course. Another thing, national parks and gun permits. So some national parks are going to be closed. Here's what it says. It says, the popular panda cameras at the Smithsonian's National Zoo in Washington will be turned off, according to a statement from the Smithsonian Institution. Visitors will still be able to visit the National Zoo as well as Smithsonian museums over the weekend, but the zoo and the museums will be closed beginning Monday. So they'll still be open during the weekend, but it'll be closed starting Monday. That's when it will take effect. Also says the shutdown will also affect the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, meaning if you wanted a gun permit, you'll have to wait until the shutdown is over. So that's pretty crazy because I'm sure there are people who are trying to buy guns, and they won't be able to get gun permits throughout this time. And we don't know how long it's going to last. Maybe they'll be able to come to a compromise. So here are some essential services. So one of them is the TSA, air traffic control, and mail services. Here's what it says. It says essential services such as Social Security, air traffic control, and the Transportation Security Administration, which is the TSA, will continue to be funded even if some employees of these agencies are not. And the Postal Service, U.S. Postal Service, will also continue to run. So all those things will continue to run. Some of the employees won't be getting paid, but they will still be showing up to work. Now, D.C., so Washington, D.C. city services were in the past shut down in government shutdowns, but the mayor has said that they will continue even if there's another government shutdown. So that's what's going to happen. Also, the National Mall will also be kept clean. So those are the things that will be affected by this government shutdown that has happened. But to give you a really quick kind of TLDR here, so here are the major departments that are going to be shut down. Commerce, except National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, Education, Energy, Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, the FDA, Health and Human Services, Housing and Urban Development, Interior, including National Parks, IRS, the Labor, including Bureau of Labor Statistics, NASA, National Institute of Health, and the Smithsonian. So these are a lot of things that are going to close down. And now the thing here is that this is going to there's going to be a big bump in the economy, because what ends up happening is, basically my understanding is, government spending is a big percentage, like 19% of the gross domestic product, the GDP. So you're going to see a bump in the economy because a lot less people are working. It depends on how long this goes on. Again, they could compromise over the weekend. It is possible, but really, if this goes on similar to how long it went in 2013 when Obama was facing off with the House Republicans, about, up to 1 million people can lose their jobs, even more people who will not lose their jobs, but they won't be working throughout this time, and so there will be less output and and spending and things like that. Now, when it comes to the political aspect of this, it depends on who the people are going to put the blame on, and that's really what it depends on. Bill Clinton had a huge raise in his poll numbers due to people putting the blame on Newt Gingrich when they shut down the government twice. Obama, he had the benefit of the Republicans' approvals just tanking, because people put the blame on people like Ted Cruz and John Boehner rather than Obama in the government shutdown. And I also read that the polls show that people would rather blame Donald Trump for the shutdown than Democrats, but also that they don't support, or they think that getting a budget passed is more important than trying to get DACA. So basically, they'd rather get the budget passed than have DACA on it and fight tooth and nail for DACA, as you guys know, tooth and nail fighting. But yeah, this is something that's very interesting, and I will keep you guys updated for sure, and this is something that's really crazy. Support independent progressive media by leaving a subscription down below. Leave a like and share the video. Help us out on Patreon, or you can donate in other ways. Links are in the description down below. We are fighting Trump tooth and nail, and we will continue to do so with your help.